In this video, I'll be sharing another authentic dish that I grew up with eating it in Turkey. And of course, I'm still eating it. Now, instead of my mom, I'm the one who cooks this. This is a traditional Mediterranean style green beans dish that I know Italians and Greek and Turkish cuisines have. And I'm sure I don't know and missing some too. This recipe is fully plant-based and full of fresh ingredients and real authentic flavors. And as always, I cook a big batch so that I can freeze some. This time is gonna be an insane one though, as I'm cooking 14 pounds of fresh green beans. Yes, you heard it right, 14 pounds. Here's the quick story. I went to my farmer's market and was told that this was the last week for my lovely fresh organic heirloom tomatoes. At first I was so sad as I love eating fresh tomatoes, and I have been freezing some quick marinara so far, but still I got panicked. I should take advantage of this last week, and I ended up buying almost all heirloom tomatoes I could find. And then I went to Costco to get some stuff and saw this super fresh French green beans. I buy French green beans every week, but this week was super duper fresh. And I'm like, this must be a sign. I have to cook green beans with these super fresh tomatoes I got. Now I'm on a mission to cook 14 pounds of French beans, Mediterranean style. Yes, I'll be torturing myself today, but hello, I cook and we eat this dish once a week anyways. So I'll be saving time for probably 7 to 8 weeks with today's cooking. So from this perspective, this is a yay situation. Don't worry, I'm not gonna scare you or get you bored showing all the same repeated batches I'm cooking today. Actually, I already started and cooked 6 pounds. This will be my break with this 2 pounds back, and I have 6 more pounds to go. So in this video, I'll be showing a small batch with this 2 pounds pack, as I have to wait for my big pots that I already cooked with to cool down a little bit. I think, yeah, enough blah blah, you'll get the idea. My main point is this dish is freezer friendly. You can keep it small or double or even triple the recipe and freeze. Let's get cooking. Here I have my 2 pounds of French green beans. You can use any fresh green beans, by the way. If you cannot find good fresh green beans, then your second best option would be frozen. Again, could be any kind. I usually get French cut or Italian cut green beans when I buy frozen. Just defrost overnight in the fridge. I just find this dish cooked out of fresh ones tastes better, but use frozen if you cannot find fresh. I do that too, many times. Okay, I have about 5 medium-sized organic tomatoes. This is a pound. Again, any fresh tomatoes would work. And I just don't use canned tomatoes. Canned is already cooked super long, and this dish requires some long cooking too. Just to try to keep vibrant taste of tomatoes. During winter months, the tomatoes get less tasty. The trick is I always keep my tomatoes at room temperature. Do not refrigerate them. It helps the ripening phase, and also taste gets way much better in room temperature. Okay, oh my gosh, my love for tomatoes. As you see, I can talk about tomatoes hours and hours. Next ingredient, I have 1 large organic yellow onion, already diced and sautéed in extra virgin olive oil for about 5 minutes till it kind of looks like translucent and soft. Let me show you how it looks already. Okay. And then, where is my minced garlic? Here. Okay. I also have minced garlic, salt, black pepper, extra virgin olive oil, and just 1 teaspoon maple syrup to intensify the tomato flavor. And of course some water, or you can substitute water with vegetable stock if you want to experiment. That's all I need. Simple ingredients and the taste is so good. Let's get cooking. I'll start with washing my green beans and tomatoes, then chopping time, and finally I'll show you how I cook. As always, I'll be showing every step I follow for this delicious recipe, and for the exact measurements that I end up having for this small batch, please check down the description box below. Now I'm heating my sautéed onions back for a minute or so, and then I'll be adding 1 teaspoon of minced garlic in the center and sauté a minute more. As I do not want to burn my garlic, just 1 minute is enough, and then I'll start adding the ingredients. After sautéing onions and then garlic, next item I'm adding is my cut green beans. I stir everything well, then I will close the lid and then let it sauté for 5 more minutes. You may realize that I'm cooking outside. Our grill has a strong side burner, gas burner, So when the weather is nice, I love to cook outside in our backyard, enjoying the fresh air and keeping the house smell like green beans all day long, as I'll be cooking for a long time today. Okay, 5 minutes passed. Now time to add my diced tomatoes. And I'll repeat. So I'll stir well, close the lid, and saute for another 5 more minutes. All my vegetables are done with sautéing. Time to add the remaining ingredients. Okay, I'm adding black pepper, 1 to 2 teaspoons, 1 tablespoon of salt, totally up to how much you like. And then I'm adding 1 teaspoon maple syrup, and I'm adding 5 cups of boiled water, enough to cover and submerge the green beans. Again, stir well, close the lid, and cook about 45 minutes. I'll be checking in every 15 minutes to make sure I have enough water in the pan. These checking steps are optional. The water ratio I gave is very safe, but I can't help myself. So I check. 15 minutes passed and I'm just checking. I'm stirring. The water looks good. Not too much, not too little. So I leave this alone for another 15 minutes till I check for the next one. The second 15 minutes passed. Checking again and stirring. The water looks a little less than I would like to see, so just adding a little bit of water, half a cup, to make sure the water kinda covers the beans. Okay, I'll be leaving this for the third and the last 15-minute cooking round. We're done with the last 15-minute cooking round. I turn off the gas and I'll be leaving the pan to rest about 20 minutes before I serve. So from start to finish, meaning sautéing onions from raw to all the way down to the end, it takes about an hour to cook this dish. Okay, I'll be cooking more and will enjoy some for today's dinner, of course, but let me show you how I freeze. As you remember, I cooked 2 pounds of fresh green beans, and I would say this would make about 5 to 6 servings as a main dish. And I serve this dish with a side of pilau, rice and salad. So just portion as you'd like and freeze. My pan is completely room temperature, and when I check the bottom of my pan, I do not feel any warmness. Time to transfer this to my freezer-friendly bags. I'll be freezing in a dinner portion. I have a family of 4, 2 kids, 1 being toddler and 2 adults. And the remaining, I'll portion in a smaller bag as individual lunch. I always use these small pans to freeze so that the bag freezes flat and allows some room on the top like this. I even tape at the end, you'll see. And when it completely freezes, I'll transfer the bag to my freezer boxes in my freezer and get my pan back to the kitchen. When the time comes, I use the same pan to defrost in the fridge overnight, as this pan keeps my fridge clean just in case any accident happens with the bag. And plus the frozen things get sweaty when defrosting, so always good to use a plate, pan or container when defrosting. Okay, these will good to go into the freezer.
Bon appetit!